into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh, Internet, it is so fantastic to have you here with us. We are talking about Season 6, Episode 2 of Archer, titled 3 to Tango. And what an episode it was. I was impressed. I hope that you were impressed. I know that everyone I'm sitting with was impressed. But who are these people? Who am I? Who am I sitting next to? These are pressing questions that need to be addressed. Hey, everybody. I'm Greg Goodness.
And I'm Scott Moore.
I'm Zach Wilson.
And man, oh man, this was, again, another return to form for Archer in more ways than one, okay? So not only are we off the vice track, we've shaken that out.
Yeah.
We've gotten all the cocaine out of our system. Lana has lost the baby weight, which at least that was my initial impression going into this.
Apparently not.
Yeah, not according to Conway.
Well, I think that he was being just a little bit of a jerk by saying that. Pam's weight is back.
Huge jerk.
Yeah, we're back. And Conway Stern is back. We have to talk about this. Right. Conway Stern, who we haven't seen since all the way back in Season 1.
Right, this was like forever ago.
Yeah, this was like one of the premiere episodes of Archer where we were introduced to Conway Stern.
And one of the best ones, too. That's a classic, just great episode.
Oh, my God,
He touched my penis with his penis. I want to file an HR complaint.
Against who? How would you even work that out? There are too many wires to be crossed in that HR complaint. I don't understand it. I was impressed when we launched into this and when we immediately saw Conway Stern back up on the screen. Because again, this is sort of a very obvious season of Archer to me, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that we are just laying it all out on the line. From where, last season we're just like, or last episode rather, nope, everything is exactly the same. We're rebuilding the office exactly as it was, which we touched on again in this episode. But then we're going right back to the screen comes up and the audible gasp of Conway Stern, and he's back, right? Like we're going back into it.
Right, it's almost like a reboot from the reboot. But yet we're going right back to where we were and bringing in all these old characters and
all of the guns have been digitally replaced with Ewoks.
Walkie-talkies. Okay, if they were digitally replaced with Ewoks, that would be a great movie. I'd watch that over and over again. But no, I was excited when this initially popped up because, again, Conway Stern we were always teased that he was coming back. And except for that one little sliver, I think it was either last season or 2 seasons ago.
I think it was 2 seasons ago. I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't remember for sure.
My exact timeline is off, and I feel like much less of an Archer fan for it.
Me too. I feel like I failed.
But we did have that one sliver that they alluded to again in this episode where we saw Krieger giving him a cyborg hand, opening up for a wealth of WD-40 and 9-volt battery jokes throughout the entire episode, all of which I loved. But I had sort of abandoned hope. I'm not gonna lie. I had thought that this is it. We're never gonna see Conway. That was just something they set up that they could never possibly pay off again.
I did think they would because I know if they're going to set it up, it was the longest tease ever, but I knew at some point they're going to bring him back. At some point, because if they said it, they're going to do it. Because that's horrible. Say, hi, we're just going to tease you that he is, and then he never does again. Let's just hope you forget about it.
I mean, it's not totally outside the realm of possibility. No. I was a little bit on the fence, though, as far as what his role was going to be in this episode, because yeah, we lean into it pretty hard that Archer is convinced something is going to go horribly wrong. But everyone else in the episode, I thought it was a little weird. It was like, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. He's back.
Yeah.
He's on board. He's a
Yeah.
good guy. So what if he stabbed you in the back?
Right.
These things happen.
Which I was gonna say, as soon as they going that route, I knew, of course, obviously that wasn't gonna happen. But like you were saying, I had no idea how they were gonna bring him back into this and what he was gonna be doing.
Right.
So I was surprised a little bit.
What did you guys think when they open the door? Archer opens the door and immediately goes on revenge rampage.
That was awesome. I couldn't stop laughing during that when he's yelling.
Yeah.
Revenge rampage. I flash back to his pot-riddled cancer rampage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The enrampagement.
Yes. But no, it was fun, and it's a fun fight sequence where they were fighting with books and hat racks.
You know, this is a little bit off topic, but I have to give, again, big ups to the animation department
yeah.
on this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Because that thin beam of light shining through the door, and then as soon as it cuts off, he kicks down the door. And that fight sequence in general was just like a beautiful, tightly dense, packed thing. Maybe not as elaborate as like when they're falling out of buildings or rolling down the side of cliffs, but just like really tight and really fast.
Impressive nonetheless. Yeah, the animation is just on point. It's incredible.
Simple,
So definitely.
but exotic.
Yes.
I dug it. The other thing that this sort of made me think of is like, is this an indication of more to come? Because we already saw, you know, at the very top of the episode, oh gosh, I'm already blanking on his name, Slater, just Slater, who's returning back, and now we see the return.
Monosyllabic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would say that there's something wacky in your cup, but I'm the only one with a cup this evening, so.
I finished the cup.
Do you think this is a return? We're going to see more of this. Like, I immediately, what springs to mind is the gay interior designer brother.
God, I
We
hope
got them back last
I know,
year.
but I want them to be back. But I do agree with you. I do think sort of like what's old is new again, and I think they will bring back some of these characters from earlier seasons again because it's fun. You kind of remember, you're like, oh yeah, I remember them from a couple seasons ago, and it's kind of fun. But it seems new and fresh again, and you can do different things with these characters. So I do think we'll see more.
What I will say though to that is, as much as that's fun, and this episode was funny, it made me laugh. You don't want to do that too much because honestly, when you break it down to the bare bones, this episode with the Conway Stern plotline, a lot of the biggest laughs are just like rehashes of what happened the last time. Like, I'm laughing hysterically when he gets shot in the back. Oh, by the way, called it.
Yeah.
It's great, but if you start to do that every episode, you fall down a rabbit hole of like terribleness. Where,
Self-referential.
Self-referential stuff is great when you're adding and building to a joke. It's the difference of like last season it was, oh, eat a bag of dicks, Jungle, and this season it was eat a buffet of dicks.
It seems to be like we're heightening from the previous games.
Yeah,
We've
back to
established.
buffet.
And from stabbing to bullets.
Yeah, but you want to make sure that it's actually elevating,
Right.
because it runs a real risk of becoming like, oh, they're just doing it again.
Right, they're doing retrods and they're bringing out the same stuff, and I do agree with you. It's got to be a balance, or it gets old really fast. Yeah, totally. But I do think we'll see more of those characters.
And I have faith that Adam Reed is going to be able to walk that line.
Oh yeah, I trust
absolutely.
them. They have my trust for now.
Yeah. For now.
But it's a very thin ice trust there.
That is so foreboding, my God. Also, we also have to shout out that wasn't the only returning character in this episode. The guard that, I'm forgetting his name because right now my notes are a disaster, and I can't actually read my own handwriting, such is the way of how I operate. But
you can read the handwriting on the wall over there.
I can read that handwriting. I can't read what I actually took while
Writing's
watching
on the
show.
wall,
Scott.
Exactly.
Point being, that was the same guard that, if I'm remembering correctly, fell in love with Cheryl/Carol as they were unloading the planes. Like, she was when she was a country star.
Oh,
he had a
yeah,
little bit of a fling with her. So
yes.
they recognized each other. That was what ended up selling Archer out. Was because he's like, oh, wait, I actually recognize you as an agent. which I thought was kind of cool and funny.
Small world.
Yeah. And all played out in Spanish, that entire scene.
Yeah, which I thought was a great way to do that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I'm excited, though, for the rest of the season. And I'm excited if they can have more people coming in, then great, all the more to it. But it's not all returns. It's not all returns. We're focusing on a new arrival throughout this season, baby AJ, who, again, is in this episode. I was I'm not going to lie, I was expecting baby AJ to just sort of disappear onto the back burner.
And I didn't think they would do that because I thought they had brought this character in for a reason, and it's going to be part of the storyline for the season.
And that's that's the fun thing. I don't think they're going to put the baby away at all because it's a great way to now have new storylines, even while you rehash some old stuff. And if Adam Reed's worried about that he's stuck on doing too many spy things, like that's why we went Vice for a year. I mean, that could be a great way to just give you a new plot line because there's a baby that can't just disappear.
Exactly. And it's a new character there, and Adam Reed, they brought in this character for a reason, and it was thought out, so they're not going to just kind of throw out the baby. But I also think it's going to change the dynamic, too, with Archer and with Lana, too. So I think that then you have that whole other level, too, with their relationship.
Well, I'm glad that we called it out right away at the top of the season. That's like, listen, we're both secret agents. What if we both die?
Right.
What is going to happen to this baby? We should probably not be in the same room or in the same country or on the same plane.
Right, like the president and vice president kind of thing. But it's good that they did bring that up, too, I thought. Like, instead of letting that kind of be in the back burner, that's a realistic thing that they've kind of brought into the show, and I think that's great because it's true.
Yeah.
What will they do with this baby? And that adds a whole other dynamic there.
Yeah. Zach, I think it's funny that you said the baby can't just disappear when that's exactly what happened in this episode. That was the plot line, is that Malorie loses a baby, which is insane.
Which is so perfect, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's Malorie. Like, that's what we'd expect.
Of course.
And it's exactly why when Archer brings up, like, we should give it to Mother and Mother and Woodhouse. I'm like, no, maybe Woodhouse.
I love that Woodhouse is back in it, too, as mentioned.
Except that Woodhouse could, like, die tomorrow.
Okay.
Like 110.
Also, let's not forget the fact Woodhouse is a heroin addict. Really, real deep into it, heroin addict.
Right. Like, he'll sell that baby for that heroin.
So, like, as great as we all think Woodhouse is, probably not best to leave a baby in charge with a heroin addict, which Archer knows. Yeah. He's fully aware that he has a huge heroin problem.
For him, what he's really saying is, she would stay with my parents because effectively they were his parents.
Yeah. That's true. So it's I want the people who raise me, which is very strange coming out of Archer, especially all the hate that's been like communicated between him and his mother, that all of a sudden he's totally on board with the mother raising this child.
Exactly.
Now.
Although, in fairness, like, who else is Archer going to give a baby to?
It's sort of your point. Like, it's true. But I think that's also, like, why it was so perfect that she lost the baby. Because, like I said last episode, I thought it was interesting that she was embracing grandmother so much because she's so vain and into herself, as we saw in this episode. So I thought that kind of played along those lines of her losing the baby.
You know, maybe that's going to be like Malorie's arc through this season.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is this going to be a common thread here? Like, is she going to lose the baby, or is the baby going to be lost in more than one episode for different reasons in different ways? You know, it's going to be like kind of like running thing.
I don't think she's always going to lose the baby.
Necessarily, but
it's like, oh no, now we're in the
lost. Yeah.
Now we're in the superstore. The baby is lost. We took a tour to the meat grinding factory, and the baby is lost. No! But yeah, we sort of had that last season, or I guess it was last season, where she's falling for Ron Cadillac and progressing through that and opening herself up to love, and then that kind of all went to hell.
And the fact she was vulnerable. And last season with the Vice, you know, how she kind of got stripped down and admitted her vulnerabilities there and
releasing control. So maybe now she is going to finally open up and bestow love upon another human being.
Make up for what she didn't do the first time around. Who knows?
maybe that's the end game all along.
And then Archer sees her treating the baby way nicer than she ever treated him, and he gets jealous of his own daughter.
That definitely is going to come up this season. Is that Archer is going to get jealous of a baby?
Yes.
Specifically, yes, his own daughter. Perfect.
Right.
You're hired. Right. That's true.
I will say one question though on where the baby goes. If Lana did die, as Archer is the biological father, doesn't he, like, regardless of her will, like, have, like, sort of like a first right of refusal situation?
What do I look like, a lawyer? Why are you asking me this? I don't know family law.
I don't know if the child services would appreciate raising the child in an environment that's in the danger zone.
An excellent point.
Fair. All right, I'll drop my case.
I do have to say, though, that I was really surprised. I was telling you guys about it a little bit earlier. We did not expect, out of all the perils that this baby may face, that just being in an office environment may be the most dangerous thing for this baby. Specifically, the ISIS environment. Because apparently, we now have sentient robot teddy bears walking around.
The Nedley Tedley.
Yeah, the Nedley Tedley.
T800, or what was it?
Aw, Mr. Bear Jangles.
Mr. Bear Jangles.
Can't quite decide on a name for the bear.
Did he call it Barely at one point?
I would be mad because I think the Lee thing is reserved specifically for Piggly, and that is all that can ever be.
I go for Mr. Bear Jangles.
But
that's my vote.
But Barely has a whole other range of fun to be had with it.
And how
so many different directions with that name.
Yeah. How horrifying was that animatronic bear, by the way? How
nightmares.
Yeah.
Nightmares with that thing.
I just wanted to play with it. That looks awesome.
No. Oh my God, no.
Oh, Milton. Where was Milton?
I think that Milton. Here's.
I know, right?
Here's the thing that I've been noticing. We've already had like 3 or 4 different sentient robots in the former ISIS office. We had Milton. We had the apparently the desktop computer that had seen 2001: A Space Odyssey. And said, "What are you doing, Dave?" as it was dying on the floor. We had the robotic teddy bear, and I'm now blanking on the 4th one here. But yeah, so we've seen a whole lot of so we've seen a whole lot of different sentient robots here, and I think that's going to be continuing.
But can't Milton just kind of do a little drive-by and the toast pops out and just keeps going on its way? That would just be enough for me.
I want Milton deserves an A story.
He does.
He deserves a primary storyline just about his adventures.
Oh my God.
And he will get one, and then eventually a spin-off.
But could it be leading to some kind of robot uprising? Possibly led by Milton.
Oh my God. You're teasing me with so many awesome possibilities
great
now.
Thoughts.
Oh, I just want them all. I want them all to go flooding in.
Like Milton is like going down the middle of the hallway and he's popping up like carbon fiber toast and the teddy bear's throwing it at people and they're exploding somehow. It's going to be awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, you can move on.
No, I get it. No, you want a rampage of robots. You know what we want here at AfterBuzz? A rampage of reviews. Hey, everybody. So we do this week after week, and we do it for free because we love Archer and because we love you, and we love being able to talk about the show and interact with people, and it's all a great and wonderful thing. But in exchange for that, all that we ask is you log on to iTunes. First off, subscribe to our podcast if you haven't done so already. You can also go ahead and subscribe to plenty of other fabulous AfterBuzz TV podcasts, but just give us a rating. Let us know what you think. That's really all we want to know. And, shout out at us on the YouTube page. Just the other day, Dr. Jim pointed out that the baby goat-esque animal in Archer's room called a dick. So apparently, Archer was surrounded by a dick, and also 2 prostitutes that may have had dicks. So
there were 2 dicks and a dick.
dick.
So
Makes
kudos,
sense.
Adam Reed.
Yes.
Kudos.
And kudos to Dr. Jim
thank
for
you for
pointing
those things out, because sometimes it's easy to forget when we come right in here right after we watch, and so it's always great to have everybody's feedback.
There's only so many things we can do. Like, I did catch that there was the at the end there's a little reference to Horatio Kane.
Yes.
From it's what's his name on CSI?
Yes, on see, now you're caught me again. I'm forgetting. But yes, I did catch that at the end there, which I thought was good too.
Yeah. It was a good episode for references.
It was.
Again, sort of a classic return to form. Just real briefly before we wrap things out here, I do want to touch again that we're back to like a classic spy storyline on
110%, yeah.
It doesn't get any more cut and dry than this. It is, hey, we need you to go and extract an agent out of a dangerous area, and also he has a list of every CIA operative working in South America. That is... Granted, we now have talking sentient teddy bears and a man with a robot hand, Mr. 9-Volt himself, Conway Stern, but that is pretty cut and dry. And I think it was a better episode / show because of it.
Yep.
Like it is nice to dive back into that.
Absolutely. As I said, like what's old is new again, and it's great to have that back to its roots. And I love the ending there too. I loved Lana being able to kick a little ass too.
Yeah,
you know, that was great.
Nice to see her back and being rough and tumble.
Exactly, because she hasn't been able to do that, so that was great to have her back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more classic spy storylines myself, because it's nice to have the weird stuff.
Yeah.
And just real quick, guys, we got to get that spooky theremin music in here. We have to. I live for it. I crave it. Just like through my veins, please. Can we get it? Yes. Okay.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and predict something real quick, but I also have a prediction I got to get off my chest. So go ahead, you guys.
Go first.
I'm up first.
Yeah,
putting you right there on the spot.
But I was so good last week. Now I'm going to be bad.
I know. I'm like, I don't have anything really.
You know what? I think we're gonna get more of Cheryl being choked by Miss Archer.
That's fair. Scott, what do you got
more
for us?
Uninterrupted 80-minute dump breaks.
I already gave you the crazy robot.
Yeah, okay.
Which I appreciate that. Yes, and I want Milton. We want more Milton.
Okay, Scott wants more Milton.
And more uninterrupted private breaks for Pam.
Here's my theory. I believe that the former Soviet leader of the KGB is not dead. He did not die in that explosion. I think we're finally going to see him, as we've seen Conway Stern return. We're going to see him rise from the ashes and possibly be a father figure to Archer. Ooh, I'm throwing it out there.
All right, we'll see.
All right, everybody. So real quick, if you want to find us on the interwebs, I'm at Greg Goodness.
And I'm at SMan80, that's SMan80, and here on Monday nights for Looking Season 2 podcast.
And you can catch me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, ThatzachWilson, and a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, including Agent Carter, Helix, Grimm, and a bunch of others. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Have a good one, everybody.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.